Oh, welcome back. Sorry, I was thrown by Fancy Rusty.
He's
I
got a
was not
scarf,
ex-
mate. Look at him.
Yeah,
I
it
was
got
not
cold,
expecting it.
but not so cold that I need a jacket. So we're mixing it up.
There's nothing colder than what the Direwolves did then, though. Rusty, was that the game we had to have to get into the day? We're feeling loose now. We're feeling limbo. We're all worked up.
It's like, you know when you go to the football and like at a half time they'll have the little kids go on the crowd into the middle of the stadium and they'll play their Auskick version of the game. That's what it felt like. But then Direwolves came in and the big boys just showed them how to play. That's definitely an unfortunate game for Gravitas. But at this point, you know, like Direwolves have come in with pretty good form this week and they've continued that very well. Mir's the person that I constantly look at right now. What a week from him.
Yeah.
Spawn, do you have any way that you would like to insult one of the teams?
No, I'm not going to go as far to insult Gravitas because I think that's a game that Direwolves should win. Games like that, I always measure how teams do win as opposed to the fact that they do. And I think that they just got really good drafts at the moment. I mean, I couldn't believe it when a couple of people in Twitch chat were saying that they got out-drafted because that draft to me just looked top to bottom so dominant. Mordekaiser was a little bit misplaced, but obviously Chippy's just wanting to show he can blind pick it and message clearly received because he had a couple of very good moments in that game. But across the board, they looked very good. Decoy entered a little bit to make the game 25 instead of 21 minutes, but apart from that, it was a pretty solid performance.
The worst part of the game was, Rusty, you were, 21 seconds off a perfect prediction for the Nexus exploding?
Yeah, I thought I'd give a bit of credit to them being able to hold on to the game. Not really able to do as much as we would have hoped, I will say, Nick. But at the end of the day, Decoy did delay it enough to get my prediction real close, real close.
Super close. All right, if you want to get close to the action, you need good audio. And to get good audio, you need a good headset. To get a good headset, you need to get with EPOS. EPOS want to give away 2 headsets to 2 lucky OPL viewers. All you need to do is head to the @OPL Twitter page, twitter.com/@OPL. There is a post there about this competition. Reply to that post with your most out-of-this-world gaming experience, just a short story about the thing that happened to you once in a video game that you remember the most. We will pick 2 winners in a couple of weeks and we'll announce them live on the OPL, and those 2 winners will win themselves a GSP 600 headset. Not into headsets and just like cash money, well, not cash money, like card voucher money for specific use in the League of Legends store, then NeoSurf have you covered. NeoSurf are again running the competition to get you involved in the opening titles of the OPL broadcast. And all you have to do is take a short video of yourself joining that phone call that you see at the top of every OPL broadcast. You've seen your fellow viewers get involved, win. The winner for that gets themselves $500 worth of NeoSurf credit for using the League of Legends store, and 5 runners-up get $100 each. Just follow @NeoSurf Esports and @OPL on Twitter, and then DM that video. Oh, it says here, share your video with us using the hashtag NeoSurfWin. I believe it's DM. I will find out. Full terms and conditions are available at watch.lollyspots.com. You've got a couple of weeks to enter that one, and we would love to see you as part of the show, particularly Spawn. All right, it's time to move on with the broadcast. It's time to leave the OPL. Let's get out of this league, which is, I mean, let's face it, that's why we're here, right? We're just a feeder league to the LCK.
Ready to
Let me help shuffle off your mortal coil.
When you run out of insults, try steel.
Not gonna lie, team, I was a little worried the titles wouldn't play then. There was that awful 1 extra second where you just go, what does my face look like right now? This is the LCK. Yesterday we did the Demacia region. Today we're doing the Noxus edition. This is where we pit the every League of Legends champion against each other to find the OPL named greatest champion of all time. Noxus edition, let's jump into it. Ladies and gentlemen, pairing number 1, you know how it works, by the way. You just need to pick your best champion, your favorite champion. Any criteria for picking applies. Yesterday's included, I like the way that he walks. I don't like her judgy eyes. And I
She
like
looks
My
like a
Chemical
Karen.
Romance. She looks like a Karen. Those poor Karens out there. The first one is Cassiopeia versus Vlad. Who do we like, gentlemen?
Neither.
That's a good point. Who do we hate the least?
I always like the little cute picture of like how does Cassiopeia wear her boots and then they're on her head. So I'm gonna go with Cassia.
It's as good a reason as any. Rusty?
Vladimir's got a creepy bald skin, so I can't go for him.
He also has a cool Marquise skin though.
He does. Is there a
you-
pool party Vlad skin? If there was, I would vote for Vlad.
No, there isn't.
I'm voting for Cass.
I think I have to go for Cassiopeia. Snakes, Australia, down under, done.
Yep, we are the only country that have snakes. So, Cassiopeia, congratulations, you win round number 1. Let's jump into round number 2. It is Darius versus Talon.
Oh,
Darius versus Talon. Spawn, you have opinions.
the two champions of the region have just been seeded into the group of death already.
Yep.
Darius, obviously, what is there not to love? He's just a hunk of a man that is an amazing leader and a great general. And then you have a look at Talon and he just backflips and does parkour. I honestly cannot pick. I love both these champions so much.
If we're basing it off League of Legends gameplay, once again, the answer is neither, and I'm learning very quickly that Noxus is annoying. Like, everything so far has been a real pain in the butt to deal with.
Yep.
But I think I would pick Talon, because I find it easier to deal with the Talon, where my bot lane does not.
Okay, good point. Skimmy?
Yeah, I think Talon for me. You give him the boots and MOBs, and well, he just runs away, doesn't he? Runs away from all his problems in life, backflips across, you know, dodging all life's issues, and gets some kills. And you know, yeah, absolutely, mate. Why wouldn't it be? You know, life is a struggle right now for all of us. Yeah, Talon for sure.
Here's my issue. Chat just love Darius. Darius every day. Darius. Okay, all right, but we're going with Talon because you guys have spoken, and so there you go. Congratulations, Talon. You win, Darius. You're out of this competition forever. Thanks for the short appearance.
He would have beaten
all right.
everyone else from Noxus as well.
He probably would have. He probably would have. He definitely would have beaten these two. Draven versus Swain. Draven versus
Draven.
Swain.
No,
Has to be Draven.
Swain is literally... He is a BMF. He is like... I love Swain so much. What is there not to like about Swain?
I look at Draven and I think of
the-
Nick Boy. Look at that handlebar moustache,
Yeah,
no?
totally. Oh, he looks like me, and he's got my arms, and Swain looks like the Lannister dad.
Yeah, and he
True,
was also
true.
an insanely good character. He was one of the only characters in the whole of Game of Thrones that made any sense.
Yeah,
if like the whole point
kept-
of Game of Thrones is political power and looking after your faction, no one else in that whole show makes any sense apart from the Lannister dad. Much like Swain. Swain is balls.
But if we, you're going with Swain, Rusty, is this how it falls? Are we going full Swain?
I like Draven, but the way that I see this, right, is...
would like Draven.
Yes, I would.
Yeah, because
I would like Draven.
You
his thighs are
egocentric-
just he's so dense
Taking
that they
the points
rub
off me.
the.
I was going to say that Draven's got a big ego, but now Spawn's calling me out, so I'm going with Draven. Bring it on.
Yeah.
Screw Swain. He's out of here. Old news for an old man.
I feel like I have to go with what Steel Singh says here, which is Swain literally lost his arm and made a new one out of the thing that ate it. And if that's not the most badass thing in the world, then I don't know what is. So Swain, congratulations, you win. You move on.
Thank goodness. The actual smart people in chat.
There can only be one person with a handlebar mustache in the League of Legends scene, and that is me. Up next, Katarina versus Sion.
Sion, every day. He's the big chat in the top lane.
He is bald though, so Rusty won't like him.
Yeah, that's true. He
That's
also
true.
yells cowards as he ults backwards.
I'm all for
I like
star-crossed lovers. And Katarina and Garen is like the best tale of forbidden love, I think, in League of Legends. Like, what better forbidden love story is there? Like, Romeo and Juliet? Pfft, who's ever heard of that? Pocahontas? Pfft, Avatar, Katarina Garen. Write me a fanfic about that. That's what I'm saying.
Your third pick
It's interesting.
for love stories was Avatar?
Well, I did like a thing about star-crossed lovers, and I did how Romeo, Juliet, Pocahontas, and Avatar were all actually the same story, just retold by idiots, and it got me published. So I was happy with that one. In
That's
university.
pretty true.
You know
And
what, Nick?
Paradoxical
I'm
Gaming
really,
is
really
backing you up.
excited to see us pit Lilia in a champion knockout and hear his fanfic explanation about that one.
Skimmy, it's up to you. Who are you picking?
I had to go for Sion. I mean, just look at him, menacing. He'd be like the kind of guy that like slaps your girl's ass, and you go, "Sorry, I won't do anything." He's just
you
too
apologise to him.
Yeah, you apologise to me. He's just too much of a Chad. Look at him.
You
Not
gotta
what I
be
would
let
think
out of the
of
house.
when I look at Sion.
My God. Okay. And then Papa Smithy says Scion, so there you go.
Papa Smithy, you have betrayed me. That is actually just devastating.
And then the final pick, it is another three-way. It is...
It is
Kled.
another three-way. Can we please change the wording of that?
Hey, I'm just taking it back.
Let's
It's
get the mini
Kled.
chub out, boys. MPL time.
Well, there you go. You see it right there. Kled Riven LeBlanc.
Okay.
Kled. Because he's
Kled's
loud,
got
he's
personality
annoying,
plus.
he yells a lot, he swears, which is very rare on Summoner's Rift, and he's just a barrel of fun.
Nah, I'm going with LeBlanc. LeBlanc has one of the coolest stories, right? Isn't like LeBlanc... Wasn't the whole theory behind LeBlanc that she impersonated Jarvan and like killed the old king of Demacia and is the person that actually is behind the Black Lotus, that is the government body in... like the secret kind of government body within Noxus, that is the people... You know, going up against Jericho Swain. Like, that's a cool backstory. LeBlanc is... Yeah, she's
But
also a badass.
That's really cool, but does she ride a Dracolops? You
No,
know?
but neither
Kled
does
does.
Kled half the time. Skull's a coward.
And then Skimmy?
Kled, champion select.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's
It's just wrapped up in 2 words.
Like you care about champion select. My goodness, you can't call me
Yes.
out on that. I have to go
Yes.
Kled because chat is just losing their minds. If we don't pick Kled, then they're all leaving. They're
Hang
gonna
on a second. When did it
watch
become a good
Valorant
idea
tournament.
to do what chat wanted us to do? When did that become a thing?
Look, I know.
If
Well,
anything,
mainly-
when chat votes for something, points should be deducted.
That's interesting. Well, I'm mainly doing it just because I've got an incredibly angry producer in my ear begging me to throw to the game, and I was like, well, I need some justification. But now that you think about it, you're right. Let's talk about this for a while because I wonder if Kled is really... I'm just waiting for them to cut me off. All right, it's time for game number 2. It is Chiefs versus Mammoth. I mean, this is the one we were waiting for because Mammoth taking down Legacy yesterday means that this game is literally easier than the one they played yesterday. So this should be a walk in the park for the MMM. So let's take a look at them after this short break and the Macca's Champ Select.
I think Chiefs are a strong team, but their bot lane's pretty suspect. And I think if Croc doesn't get going in the early game, we've got a pretty good shot of winning.
So I think Chiefs right now are our top team, but they haven't been able to enable Croc like they did in Split 1, and I'm looking forward to versing them this weekend.
I think Chiefs have gotten a lot weaker since Split 1. I think since they've lost their support, he was a really insane player. So I think coming to Split 2, they've lost him, so I think there's a good chance we can take them down.
Chat is looking rowdy, ready, excited, ready for the game between the Chiefs and Mammoth. Both teams that like to get in on that action, and you know, it could be because of this matchup, it could be because of what happened just before. Who knows this one?
Sorry, I'm still talking to chat. Keep filling.
Okay, I'll keep filling because he's right now popping off. Doesn't have a mod, so it could be fake, by the way. We never know. We never will know. But regardless, the Chiefs up against Mammoth. Mammoth looking for the biggest of upsets of all the weekends we've ever seen, taking down Legacy yesterday. Can they bring it to the Chiefs? The team that came out essentially swinging yesterday. They went angry gaming, but they fell down to Order. And Order said, we needed this win. We needed to showcase that we can beat the best. And they'll be looking for vengeance here today.
And this is interesting, Skimmy, because whenever you leave up something like Callista, I just think it's a trap. You know that classic scene from Star Wars or whatever show it was?
Yeah.
And they've gone with it, and now they're going to get ashed, is I think the response here from Mboma and Artek. And I think that this is a very nice trap, Skimmy, if you will.
I was just laughing at Nick saying, shut up and do your job. Look at the camera, analyze LOL. Ah, bless your heart there, Nick. Bless your heart indeed. Chiefs locking in Callista as you highlight the pocket pick of the Ari, which you saw pop off quite honestly in surprising fashion. This time will be banned away. 2 respect bans shown to Chungi by denying the Yasuo as well. But Mammoth responding and respecting also the Chiefs mid laner by taking away the Orianna and the Syndra.
Yeah, they're the 2 champions that Claire actually has wins on, Skimmy. Every other pick he's lost on. So it makes sense. If you ban those 2, he can't win.
It's simple math, no?
It is, 100%. He's got a 100% win rate on Orianna. He's got a 90% win rate, I think, on... or 80% win rate on the Syndra. And then he's got a 0% win rate on anything else. Yeah,
at the stage. And what has he shown us? LeBlanc, Azir, and Corki have been the other picks this split so far, so we'll get to see exactly what he decides to do here today. As it stands, though, Mammoth continue to go for the Karma hype train. They're going to deny that away from a pick that Chiefs like to play whenever given a chance. And given the tendency of it being a first pick here, it could be flexed in a whole host of positions, top, mid, or support. But the Wukong going to come in here as well, which adds to the mystery as to where these picks will go.
Chat is out of control.
It really is.
It's really... it's
I've had to
starting
change
heat
tabs.
up in chat. Have you
I've had to
changed
change tabs. No, I can't look at it, because otherwise I'm going to get distracted. We're not going to talk about draft.
Okay, well, I'm just laughing at them.
Okay.
Honestly, nothing makes me happier than laughing at chat. And I want to be clear that I am laughing at them, not with them, Skivvy. See what it is going to be the mid lane pick here. You'd expect something like Zoe to come out, surely. Zoe, LeBlanc. Twisted Fate!
Big. I like this.
Okay, so the reason that this is kind of cool is because now you have to choose whether you counterpick TF with the best pick or whether you counterpick Callista. I feel like you have to counterpick Callista. I don't think there's any world in which you counterpick the TF here. Too many things that beat it. In fact, I would say, Skimmy, chance for 5th pick Kassadin, this pick ban for Chungi. Oh! It's Mpoma's Heimerdinger!
There it is. We wonder what spice would be served here today. What do we have the other time? It was Talia and the Pantheon to try and shut down the Pensnet roster in that bot lane. They're going to go and say, look, Heimerdinger is where we're at. This is what I'm going to showcase here today. That's a bit of spice.
That's a lot of spice, especially given the fact that I feel like Callista is one of the better kill lanes. So if Heimer ever gets hooked here, he might just die, Skimmy. But I do know that if you're a really good Heimerdinger player, which Mboma is, you can just actually turret the Nautilus hook.
Yes.
And it just never goes through.
Yeah.
So we'll see how this one works out. Heimer, one of those champions that if you've got like 2,000 games on him, he feels really strong. And if you have like 20 games on him, he feels useless.
It's one of those champions that is specific to Mboma in particular. He's only played one of them so far, but teams definitely do respecting it. And I think this is one of the really cool things about some of these teams is that meta aside, there are players that are really renowned for sort of breaking the mold and sort of adding a spanner into the mix and saying, look, yes, whilst this is really good, I can do this. So you could be a meta abuser, but we can look to punish you. And Mammoth, much like their video as we got ready for this one, say, if we can shut down Croc, we think we have a pretty good chance. They're going to try and target his champion pool by denying away the Nidalee as well as the Lee Sin.
Okay, Graves Kassadin. That's what I want. I want Bass on Graves, and I want Chungi on Kassadin. If that happens, I'm calling it. Mammoth will 2-0 the top 2 teams
How
this weekend.
crazy would that be? What a week of upsets that would be, quite honestly.
I think draft... oh, they banned the Graves.
There's the Graves. It's gone. It's doomed.
No. What else can we pick that's an AD jungler?
What have we got left on the cards?
Rek'Sai, Kassadin? Rek'Sai is not that bad.
Olaf, Jarvan, Trundle.
You don't want to play Jarvan because it's a Callista. Trundle
Set,
could be
Nocturne.
Okay. Nocturne. Oh, they're going to go with Karma mid. Oh.
Yep. Looking to be the case, isn't it?
Or maybe it's Morgana mid.
Regardless, it's a lot of CC denial. Would definitely patch up the weaknesses of being vulnerable to a Twisted Fate ultimate down bot lane.
Picture this, Skimmy.
Okay.
You're a level 11 Morgana. You put on your black shield. You just walk at the TF. You hit R. TF is panicking. He's pulling red cards and blue cards everywhere. He can't shut you down. And then there we go.
Oh,
It's done.
I thought there was a little bit more to that one. I was so immersed in the story.
No, you're just dead. TF dies.
Oh, okay. There goes the fanfic.
Yep. It's
No
all
fun here
done.
today. Done
Okay.
and deleted. And, well, okay, what are we going to get from the Chiefs? Croc's going to go for the Olaf, going to deny that one away as well. And Tien is looking like he wants to go for a bruiser in the top lane. Going to go for the Maokai here. A ton of sustain if he jumps into the mix of things. Going to obviously respond with some similar lockdown to what the Wukong's going to try and achieve. Where do Mammoth go to finalize this comp? Still unsure as to what their jungler is going to be, but is going to be the Wukong or not. Lived is quite quirky given his nature of playing mid and then moving to that top lane.
That's maybe
This
the
is gonna be
highest
the
value
Trundle.
Trundle pick ever, Skimmy.
Last pick Trundle. Imagine a world in which that was the case.
That is a Trundle into the Olaf with a tank on the lineup. That is honestly the best Trundle pick. I think you can probably get at, you know, R5. That is just insane value. And I think you have to be questioning kind of the Gangplank ban now, because Trundle, if these were the champions they wanted to play, if they wanted to play Olaf as well as the Maokai, the Trundle is just not the champion you want to leave up.
Certainly don't. Very curious now to see what they decide to do here, given the Heimerdinger nature. I'm just checking what we had last time. Okay, so last time they played the Heimerdinger, it was Heimer and Blitzcrank into an Ezreal Braum.
Yep.
This time, obviously, a slightly different matchup. Still going to be quite annoying in terms of the ability to stay locked in place. As you already mentioned, the turrets can then look to... Excuse me, the turrets can look to try and deny the hook engages and try and prevent the all-in capabilities that a Kalista wants to achieve. The shields, the poke, the harassment. I'm really, really curious. I mean, we've always discussed how crucial Mammoth's bot lane has been for their success, and maybe this Morgana in the mid lane is just a extra cog in the wheel that causes us Twisted Fate a whole host of issues.
Well, there's just really not all that much Twisted Fate can do against the Morgana. Morgana pushes harder, has obviously the spell shield, and I think maybe has kill threat. I'm not so sure on that one, Skimmy, but I think that if you overextend on TF or get caught in the river, you probably should die to her. So we'll see exactly how that one works out. I am interested in this bottom lane, because I don't know how it goes. I'm not going to pretend to be the Heimerdinger expert. I know top lane will be Maokai favoured. I think mid lane will be Morgana favoured. Obviously, Trundle beats Olaf. It's the old school counter pick. But bottom lane, I think, is where this game is going to be decided. King Robert going up against Mboma's Heimerdinger should be fun.
Certainly should be, and it's one with great anticipation as to sort of how it really shapes up this league. Based on how Direwolves just got that win before, Chiefs will be really keen to continue their ability to keep themselves tied in that second spot. But Mammoth, after a massive upset yesterday, taking down Legacy, would love a late run to put themselves in the ring, put themselves, chuck their name in the hat, if you will, for a late playoffs run. We'll see if they can do it in a week, which is really a power week, as you say. Legacy into Chiefs, a creative draft. Creative enough to upset the balance.
Well, let's just say this, right? If they win this game, they are 3 games out of the, you know, the top 5.
Yeah.
Which isn't insurmountable. That's a good time to start finding some form, Skimmy. So we'll see whether that's going to be the case. For those wondering, Glacial Augment for the Morgana, just a very, very good rune choice. She's going to go probably GLP into Spooky Ghost, into Zhonya. She wants all of the cooldown on the active items she can get from things like Ingenious Hunter, as well as the 5% additional cooldown from Cosmic Insight. And then she's just going to be an annoying spammy CC bot. I do wonder if they lack damage, Skimmy. That's why I was actually calling for the Graves jungle, because I felt like they lacked a little bit of damage. But we'll see whether that's actually the case, because maybe Heimer just does way more damage than I'm giving him credit for.
But that's what I wonder, right? If they are going to go for the Morgana with this style of play, obviously Lockdown is going to be so imperative, that soft CC to allow the likes of the Bruisers, topside drafties to get in on the action, lock down a target, but then the Heimerdinger turrets to absolutely shine because they're locked in place. Sustained damage, yes. Burst damage, not so apparent.
And I think there's a similar problem on the other side of Summoner's Rift, right? You've got Katsuri, who's playing, you know, an okay DPS 80 carry, but not insane. So I think both teams, not the highest damage compositions we've seen.
I'm just terrified for this Callisto because obviously the tendencies for her to dash and dive and go all over the show. Yes, incredibly strong in the early game, but that could be quite easy there for Mboma to set up those destructive bombs. Given he's gone for the electrocute as well, I imagine if they're going to be looking for that all-in engage amongst all those turrets, Katsuri's in a whole host of pain.
And you can see already that this is how the Heimerdinger lane starts. Obviously you want to CS a little bit better than what he is, but you just set up your turrets just slightly outside of range of the tower, and every single time the wave comes into this area, Skimmy, it just starts taking a little bit of chip damage, and you start losing a little bit until the shove just becomes unrelenting, and all of a sudden you're an AD carry that has to start taking recalls. Is Croc actually looking for the fight here?
Yeah, he looks to bully Bass out as Claire has priority in mid lane, so can look to assist him and force it to be a 2v1. Both top laners down to half and preoccupied at this stage of the game, so no assistance is going to be shown here, especially not from Tien, as he'll be losing a big chunk of XP and gold.
Yeah, and that's very interesting that this Morgana isn't actually getting mid lane priority. And if you just take a look at the fact that DMATs are being picked up, you have to say that both of them are probably just spamming the heck out of this mid lane wave. See, Claire takes the right choice to back off at the right moment there, Skimmy, as well. But Croc still has himself a couple of camps in the lead here. And Bass going to go for a little bit of a look-see in the bottom lane.
He's popped his head in there. I'm going to say hello, but nothing's going to happen as Katsuri's dropped down to half right now. The lane has been pushed in against him for the first 4 minutes so far. And this is to be expected from a double-ranged matchup which has a ton of pushing power.
But what are they actually getting for this push here, Skimmer? Because, you know, Dragon's about to spawn. Can they pick something like that up? Because otherwise, they're down CS because they've missed a lot of free CS, it looks like. They haven't taken a turret plate or anything like that, and Boma's actually very low on mana. So if they can't get something off this, then it actually isn't doing them any favors at all.
That's a really good ward there.
Very nice ward there.
He's going to spot out Bass. Vital information at this stage of the game with the first dragon spawning in just under 10 seconds. And as it stands, Mammoth will be losing 2 lanes of waves being pushed in against him if Croc was to be the first one to jump on that one. And one that would be pretty safe for him at this stage, given that no level 6 is online, where the Trundle can just sap away all those stats and deny your power potential.
And you can see that this should be a good dragon timing right now. Bass does have himself a red smite. Can very easily get himself the dragon if he wants to. No teleport available on Katsuri. He can bring Mboma as well as Artek over, and they can actually set this one up. You can see Claire yet to have the level 6 as well. So this should be the freebie, Skimmy.
Yep.
That we're talking about. What do you get off your bottom lane prior? Well, the first Mountain Drake of the game for your Wukong is certainly a nice thing if they can get it.
Yep, Croc's going to be bullied out of that one. The pillar will deny him his ability, as well as the empowered Q to lock him in place. Tons of soft CC. Be quite frustrating from there. Ragnarok isn't going to do too much to patch that one up. The lane states were in a healthy spot for both mid and top for them to assist if they needed to.
And you can see that top now a building wave. I think this is where a lot of people get killed against Wukong, actually. Skimmy trying to trim this wave as it comes into turret. However, Thean should know with that dragon being taken bottom side that he's not in risk of actually being dove at all. So he'll be quite happy. I've seen a lot of OPL players, namely Parvu, complain about this Barmy Cinder purchase. But you can see that it has been once again picked up here. First item Barmy Cinder to try and help with the push. Not very many combat sums, however, available. You can no longer freeze that wave. TF, however, heading top.
I was going to say, keep your eye on the minimap right now because both Croc and Claire are making their way to the top side. 2-man flash. There's going to be a cyclone and locks them all up in place. The response here from Mammoth is just a little bit too late to the action. And Shungi teleports in there, but that is what we talk about. First summon is used and Chiefs find success. 6 minutes in, they get themselves the first blood.
Yeah, really nicely done. You can see that they're actually significantly far ahead in gold at the moment, Skimmy. About 1,300. A lot of that coming out of jungle CS, as well as that first blood being picked up with double assists. So Mammoth need to be careful that this doesn't continue to grow and get out of hand. We've mentioned that we like their composition, but do need to be able to have themselves a Wukong for some damage in this game, I feel. Liv cannot continue to fall behind.
Yeah, they'll be banking on the success of that Wukong getting big. We've seen what happens when you get the Trinity Falls, the Death Dance, and a few other items online to make sure that you can do your job, have those combat summoners to target the carries that you're looking to try and take on down. Ensure that the fight is very favourable on your back end. As you say, the CS discrepancies. A big leading part, obviously TF being up as well with his passive, going to add to the mix of what makes them so far ahead. And you know, this is really what Chiefs are banking on, hitting those first item spikes, hitting those first power levels, finding those fights, and they tend to sort of do it with conviction where they find an ace.
Yeah, and Chiefs are one of those teams, and I think we were speaking about it yesterday, Skimmy, is that they fight early and often. So, like, their spikes mean way more than other teams because they use those spikes to, like, generate massive gold leads of taking constant skirmishes, and a lot of it is around Croc. So, you know, we see already jungle item coming in. It is going to be tank Olaf as well here to just beef up the front line even further. So I think that the Chiefs would be very ready and willing to fight any fight from now on in their game. They're going to have Boots too, probably picked up for Calista on next shop. You know, and she's one of those champions that is just ready to fight instantly. The Merc Treads are going to be very important for Twisted Fate to be able to keep himself alive and get the utility out that we expect out of the TF. So I think that this is a composition that, and I love compositions like this, they can kind of fight from, you know, level 1, and the fact that they've got themselves a 2,000 gold lead just means that that fighting is going to be all that more potent.
Certainly do, and you know, they don't have any lack of engage, right? You're looking at essentially every single champion here having an ability to make a play happen, and obviously with the Calista as well, the Fate's call to jump somebody in and jump somebody out, protect them from afar so Draco can look to try and make these crazy plays. Another time playing the Nautilus, continues to evolve his champion pool as he looks comfortable in this one. We'll see Croc go for the first Herald.
I don't mean to be a jerk, Skimmy, but is he evolving his champion pool, or does he just play Nautilus?
Well, from what I say, I was alluding to the fact that he was the Yuumi one trick, but it's been nerfed, so Riot have targeted him.
Yeah, Riot did nerf him, that is correct.
And he's had to evolve it into a Nautilus. Will we see Leona? Will we see a Fresh? Find out next week on the OPL.
Croc actually coming in here, TF as well.
That's a knock-up. Everybody locked in place right now. Ting going to try and take the aggro. Going to flash on out. Now switches to Croc. He's going to take a ton of damage. He's just going to fall on down to that turret as a result. And Bass is so damn tanky. Claire's now got the aggro. Claire's going to fall down as well. What on earth has just happened here? That is uncharacteristic for the Chiefs. They forced the gank. They forced the turret dive. But they pay the ultimate price.
And Lived actually got the kill on Claire through the grate. So you can see that he is now 1-2-1 and has teleport to get back into the top lane if he wants to be able to push that wave out. Looks like he's just going to hoof it though, Skimmy, because it looks like maybe Dragon is the objective that Mammoth want to play for. Taking a look at this one, Rift Herald drop is very nice. They just want to get some more gold onto Thean, make him nice and tanky. I think that this is a risk, obviously, porting underneath the turret, and he takes a lot of damage. And I want to see why he actually pulls aggro. He's hitting him. Does he have a Corrupting Potion running? He does. Just the cardinal sin. Skimmy, don't run back under that turret with either Scorch or Corrupting Potion. And that means it's going to fall down.
Fantastic timing here for Mammoth. Looking to try and find themselves in this game down by 1,300, but that's going to be the Heimerdinger doing the damage with the missiles. Sporting at such a fantastic time with the second Dragon there for them to connect with. What will Chiefs do to respond to this one? They don't have a jungler, they won't have a smite. This looks anything but free.
Certainly does. Bass now going to be able to pick up the Infernal Dragon as well. Maybe look for a bit of an invade in the bottom side. That's just Croc being greedy. He tries to get to River before the rest of his team is ready. And gets caught out there. Didn't look like he had the ultimate back up and available, and we've talked about it a little bit, Skimmy, already. But if there is something this team does well, it is just keep you in place. Once they land one piece of CC, they will land a lot of CC off the back end of it. Snares from Chungy, Artek, you know, the stun grenade coming out of Impoma. It's just going to be difficult to deal with as this game wears on.
That's what I'm starting to get terrified about, though, right? Is once you're starting to get those activatable items, especially on Morgana, if they look to try and make those aggressive diving tendencies, Mammoth could act like the puppeteers and just sort of dictate, okay, we're going to go in, you can't do much. If you don't find that kill initially, we turn things around.
Yeah, and I want to talk about something, Skimmy, because normally this is the perfect Boots choice. There's Hold the Thought, because they're invading again, but this time Chungy is here
Subjugate is there, as is the ultimate. Strong is going to land it on one. Tether will break. Okay, well, Ragnarok's out. He's going to flash on forward, hit them with the bite, and the burn will do the damage in the end. Croc gets taken on down. There's not much they can do about that one right now. The smite, the stun, and the gold card not going to achieve too much here, as Trundle can shrug that one off.
Yeah, just so much CC coming out of the the CC resistance coming out of the Trundle. What I was going to mention, Skimmy, is normally when you play Olaf, you always build tabbies. There is no point building Merc Treads because you have CC immunity. Hold the thought. Draco in trouble.
For a second time right now, as that goes the depth charge. Action in the bot lane now, fighting on turrets so far. Morgana going to rock up, look for that one big binding that could secure themselves the kill. Ooh. A much necessary flash, and the summoner heal burn as well. Katsuri in trouble.
And Mammoth everywhere right now, Skimmy, are just showing they mean business. They've already taken down Legacy this weekend, and with a very fun composition, it looks like they're on the road to taking down the Chiefs. And we've already said it, I think the composition is just way better coming out of Mammoth. I think the Chiefs are going to be struggling a little bit in this game.
We might never get a chance to speak that word right now, but Mboma's being caught on out. He's forced to flash away. There's no follow-up. And as Croc won't have that flash either, but now Chungy's just teleported in on a completely different page to the rest of his team. Doesn't have the flash, will use it eventually. Just a Fake comes out, and he says hello. There's nowhere to run or hide. Out goes the blue buff. That gets transferred across. A double kill donated across. It's an absolute fiesta.
And just as you start singing their praises, they go and hit you with something like that. Feels bad, man. See Liv starting to get the better of Thean, however, in the top lane, Skimmy. You can see how much damage comes out right now. Trying to force him back. Obviously, Thean does still have the heal available in his kit. And behind the turret they are now.
Oh no, they're fighting underneath the start. Dracu's dead. Oh, he used the stopwatch, that's clean. Okay, this is what we tend to expect. Will Bass find it? He can't do anything from afar. Chiefs get in, they pull off the great heist.
Yeah, really well played there from the Chiefs to just be able to balance that turret aggro. It looked like it was going to be a one-for-one trade, as you mentioned, Skimmy, but the stopwatch does come up clutch. And you can see that just being a little bit more active around Summoner's Rift. This next Dragon, however, is going to be the crucial one. A minute 40. We need to see Chiefs actually show up to the objective first, because you cannot run into Hextech GLP Morgana, as well as everything else happening. And if I could just finish my point on the
Go
boots.
for it. Third time's the lucky.
Okay. There is so much slows and so much CC on the side of Mammoth that even if you can make yourself CC immune, I still think you should either build Swifty boots to get out of, Hextech GLP and the spooky ghosts that are coming, as well as, the slows on the side of Mammoth, Trundle Pillar, as well as Karma Q, or you should just build Merc Treads, so you don't have to burn Ultimate the first time you get CC. I know that that's probably a cardinal sin, and most Olaf players are, going to be stubborn to the change there, but I just think there is too much of that CC available right now for the Mammoth lineup, and there isn't enough auto attack damage, which is where a lot of the resistances come in handy for the Ninja Tabby in the first place.
That's a good point you raise, and you can see the rest of the team understanding that fact, and they've all itemized into the Merc Treads.
Merc Treads are OP this game.
It's actually quite interesting to see how Mammoth they did such a great job of patching that 1,300 gold deficit. Now, as a result of that successful fight bot side where Draco had to burn that stopwatch, they've once again put themselves ahead by that same amount.
What I will say, however, Skimmy, is if you get somewhere first, which it looks through bottom lane they can, mid still getting pushed into Chungy, the fact that you don't have summoner spells is probably going to be more impactful for the Chiefs. And you can see the Chiefs actually are now missing out on bottom lane farm, because they're just acknowledging the fact that they have to be in this area before the fight starts. Teleports are going to be available. This is just going to be an out-and-out brawl.
Certainly is. This Draco looks to try and find a hook, but not going to commit to that one completely, as Mboma now looks to set up his turrets in the Dragon Pit. Out goes the Nature's Grasp. Going to look to try and lock these members in place. They've got one target in mind, and that is take down his Heimerdinger. He's locked in place. He's airborne, and he will fall on down eventually. A 1-for-1 as both AD carries fall on down. Now the support of the Chiefs decimates himself as well. They're playing with fire, they're playing with burst, they're playing with sustained damage. As Croc just goes on through, but the Ragnarok will expire, as will his health bar too. Mammoth are poised to take the third Dragon of the game.
And this is such a banger game, Skimmy. Mammoth just stand and deliver in the team fight. And you mentioned how much they used to try and take down Mboma. And he got two members to next to no health anyway. didn't fall for a very long time. Let's take a look at this. So they come in with that TF ultimate, but you can see how much damage these two members take as they collapse onto Mboma. Thean actually has to flash out on the back end of it. Sure, Artek also does get cleaned up by Croc, who is just a wrecking ball at this stage of the game, but you can see the increased damage is going to be there. Liv just smacks him with a stick, and Chungi able to pick up the kill. 3-1-2 now on this mid lane Morgana, and I like it. A very nice counter pick.
It's putting in work. Chungi continues to impress from yesterday now on through today, and you know, return to the point. It has to be the narrative of this matchup in particular. You know, Mammoth having a week of hell, taking on first and second seed, and so far, I don't know what to say. If they had their wheat picks, what's gone on?
Yeah, it looks like right now Mammoth are trying to actually take bottom lane turret. They tanked it for a little bit too long there. You can see top lane as well. Boma getting collapsed on.
Yeah, he's in a whole host of trouble right now, and he's now going to look to try and do the Melbourne shuffle underneath these turrets, and Croc is just going to get whittled down so low. Forced to flash away in the end.
It's a race, Skimmy. Who's going to pick it up first? It is going to be the blue team, but the Thean dies on the flip side of the map. And gold is so close. This is carnage. We're going at a kill a minute. This is a classic OPL fiesta. You know, pocket picks are down coming out of these teams. You got the Heimerdinger, 1v1ing the Olaf. And it's just a dead even game. But the dragons are so crucial for Mammoth. One more dragon, and the game becomes very, very tough to win for the Chiefs. Take another look at this one. Thean really desperately trying to defend the turret. Actually goes forward and looks for a cheeky auto attack. And you can see that this is the Trundle's wheelhouse, ulting the tank, taking up the turret. Very nicely done.
Certainly is, and that's going to work wonders. Kind of really highlighting your point from before of making these bruisers beefy enough that they can stand in the front, do enough damage, possess enough threat, that if everybody dives in Boma's Heimerdinger, well, the rest of these bruisers can look to eventually take them down. And so far, you know, you've got a Trinity Force online for this work, and the guy is starting to hit that power stride where he's a bit of a monster. 2.5 minutes on that next Ocean Dragon, which would give Mammoth an Ocean Soul. And wow, you know, a composition like this, poised to set up infinitely with the Heimerdinger, is quite a scary concern.
Yeah, it certainly is. And just a couple of changes to Morgana happened a while ago, Skimmy, and I don't know how long people have played League of Legends for, but W is now an execute, so the lower the creeps are, the more damage they take. Not to mention the fact that it actually ticks double rate against champions and the cannon creep. So has really serious pushing potential. Now Liv getting engaged on.
Certainly is. Liv is going to be the focus, as this clone is what receives the bulk of the damage. The Black Shield will come out, as it will prevent any further collapse. Destiny will be used here by Claire to reveal exactly where these members of Mammoth are, as everybody forgoes their side lanes, and they group up for the classic 5v5 Os ARAM.
Yeah, to be fair, however, as that is going to land, it's... Oh, hold the thought.
Liv just looking for it right now. The pillar goes out. Both teams flirting with the idea of do we connect, do we commit? Out go the spooky ghosts. As goes the GLP as well. That cooldown will be quite short.
You can see that Mammoth just taking a little bit too much poke, Skimmy. Need to be careful here because it is only a minute until this dragon. As CC starting to land. And it's actually the Chiefs abandoning their side lane, Skimmy. It's not Mammoth. Both of the lanes are pushing back in Mammoth's favor. They're actually gaining gold right now. And it's just the Chiefs saying, well, we need to get a winning fight in a minute's time, so we're just going to group for it. And Mammoth are saying, okay, well, if that's the case, we're just, we're chilling. We're good to just defend mid lane turret with one of our 2 control mages, and we will just continue to accrue CS leads. And you can see a 50 CS lead now for Lived in the top lane. You can't ignore side lanes for this long.
No, the guy's a monster, and it's everything we wanted to see. You know, as soon as he hits that Death Dance as well, the second major item, going to be very, very tough to lock him down. Looking to try and juggle the aggro between himself and the Trundle, who's itemized towards the Frozen Heart as well.
Boma's a little bit late onto this map, Skimmy. I don't like when you come out of the base with only 25 seconds before Dragon. You're not going to have the shove in mid lane, and if someone gets picked right now, it's going to be a 4v5.
Well, that's my concern. Much like an Alawa, you kind of want to set yourself up there with the success with those turrets. What can they look to achieve? Will they get picked? They will not indeed. No, out goes the Black Shield, and Bass will be protected as they now look to assert themselves with the push in mid lane. But Chiefs are fighting in the jungle so far, looking for river control as their main focus.
You just send out the Ghost. Look at that. Just cleans house. You can see second form of the CC used.
Croc runs right, then he runs left, Ragnarok goes down, he's going to fall on down. He managed to evade it for a little bit longer, but he falls on down eventually. Red Smite OP, Bass going forward and going strong. Oh my god, what on earth is that from Lived? That is a Cyclone that spells disaster. The Bruiser boys are going to go for the ace. I've never seen an upset like this ever happen in my lifetime. Tien, the sole survivor, he will fall on down. Heimerdinger gets himself the double kill. That's a flawless ace and an Ocean Soul for Mammoth.
It's going to be Ocean Soul, it's going to be Baron, and the Mammoth boys are just absolutely taking over the OPL at the moment, Skimmy. There's nothing that you can do.
Ocean Soul for Mammoth. Spawn, what on earth has happened here today? This is a major, major upset. Mammoth have only found one situation would have been close like this ever before. They've never beaten the Chiefs, but they're putting on a damn good showing here so far.
They certainly are, and that stun grenade just went through the entirety of the choke point. You can see the Chiefs are not used to playing against Heimerdinger. Liv's ult across everyone as well, and then the chase down potential is just there. The Heimerdinger has shown up to play. I think they've played it once already. You mentioned Skimmy, it didn't grab the dub, but this time around, it is looking the goods.
It certainly is. And he's got the Leandries now, and those turrets going to be even more annoying. Choke spot fights like that, that's where they flourish, and that's what you saw as a result. A flawless ace that grants them all the buffs in the world. Now sitting on an Ocean Soul, now sitting on a Baron.
Croc has to use ulti here, Skimmy.
Croc in a situation where he is caught out of harm's way. He's going to go for the Ragnarok, going to go for a 1v1, but the team of Mammoth are swarming him and surrounding him. He's going to fall on down. And they mentioned it in draft, if we can target Croc, we have a good shot of winning.
And you can see right now that without the jungler and the Baron buff available, they've only taken one turret, Skimmy. This gold lead could balloon out of control if they're able to continue to push.
24 minutes in, Mammoth up by 5k gold, poised to really push this in and look to set themselves up with an inhibitor. Clear doing whatever he can.
They're going to die.
Try and even out the odds. He's going to try and push out through bot lane and try and get that first turret, which he will. That's Lived once again, going for a Cyclone. Oh, locked in place! The CC is absurd! They can't run away from that one. Fate's Call will do a bit of action, preventing the Nautilus from falling down as well, but that's enough damage to get them off that turret. Now working their way towards the next turret, on towards the inhibitor itself. 24 minutes in, Mammoth take an inhibitor.
They can keep going. They still have so much of their Baron buff available, and I don't think there's any way the Chiefs can engage.
On earth is happening here this weekend? Mammoth are causing the biggest of the upsets so far. 25 minutes in, this Nexus turret gets incredibly low. They're going to back away. They're not going to run the risk of any throw action here, but they build themselves up a 6k lead as a result.
And you can see that this time around, Skimmy, they're not making the same nervous, jittery plays as they did against Legacy. That's what the win yesterday gives you. It gives you a little bit more confidence that you're actually meant to be here, that these gold leads are yours to be able to close out. Croc now has ult back available. Mammoth should take a reset and look to deploy into probably top lane, Skimmy, is where you would want to see them. They need to take their jungle on the way out as well. Just too much standing gold available. There's 5 camps up. But the Chiefs can't really leave their base for now. And Mammoth looking to complete the perfect weekend against the Legacy and the Chiefs.
Unreal. Unreal circumstances here. Mammoth have never defeated the Chiefs all year long. The average game time between these two is 28 minutes.
We're on track for a 28-minute game again, Skimmy.
We certainly are. It's always been Chiefs favoured, but today, with some creative drafting, they've controlled the haters. They've shown up and showed that, hey, look, you've got to show us some respect on these pocket picks that we have.
And now you are going to be fighting against a 7,000 gold deficit for Elder Dragon at 28 minutes into this game. See whether the Chiefs decide to fight that one, whether they think there is some world where they can just delay an Elder Dragon. I don't think there is, because if you give up Elder, you have to give up the Baron that's 20 seconds later. And Mammoth, they've just hit power points everywhere. 3 items completed for this Morgana. Nearly level 16 for Chungy, who's had a weekend to very much remember for the young player. You can see already Death's Dance as well completed. It's probably going to be Trundle picking up a Spirit Visage. It is Skimmy. He is unkillable.
It's everything you wanted to see. The Bruisers came online very early on. They're farming so far ahead of their counterparts. And all the utility in the world that starts from this mid lane. He sends out the Ghosts. He sends out the glacial territory of this belongs to us, you can't do much about it. 90 seconds on an Elder Dragon. The Chiefs are desperate to try and contest. They're just getting bullied out of their jungle. They can't do much at this stage. Division, it's gone.
And that's the thing, Skimmy. We already said if you don't get to river first, it's going to be impossible. Well, how do you walk through the forest against Heimerdinger, Morgana, Trundle Pillar, everything that Artek's able to throw out as well? You're just going to cop this, bind after just run away. Guerrilla warfare at its finest in the OPL at the moment.
It's systematic and it's clean here for Mammoth as they work their way towards another win condition. They're going to open up bot lane. That turret is going to fall on down there, keeping Chiefs locked in their base, not allowing them to ever walk past the gates that protect them. They're going to be forced to pick up any CS that is allowed. More than anything, it's Mammoth saying, we aren't a bottom team. We are a team that want to make that last-ditch run to put ourselves in for a playoff dream.
Well, they certainly don't look like a bottom team at the moment, Skimmy. They look very, very good, very clean, in fact. I think the Chiefs, however, did just catch a glimpse of a recall. Teleport's going to be used to get back here early, though. And, oh, that is 2 shots from 1 turret, and Katsuri's like, hey, guys, I don't know about fighting this one. Lived is on a huge flank as well, Skimmy. If he's left out-scouted, he will win the fight from here.
Certainly is. As you can see on the minimap, he is in the enemy red buff. He's flirting with the idea that they had all that vision control from the successful siege only moments prior. That's going to mean that Mammoth had control of the river. And they've got the numbers that act as bodyguards to prevent the entry into that pit itself.
Okay, you need to just start up the Elder now. You've kicked them out of the jungle.
Uh-oh, and Bowman steps forward, doesn't have a Zonius, doesn't have a stopwatch, and a whole host of trouble's going to fall on down most likely. Going to flash away into the river itself, buys a bit of time, but Katsuri shows up. He gets a shutdown. It's a 1-for-1 Sofa as the bruises fall on down. Now, Turret, actually, of all things, gets a kill from the Afterlife. And, well, that's clear in a spot above her. Going to be surrounded by 2. Action continues in the jungle. Mammoth forcing fights on multiple different fronts, from river to jungle to damage to mid. Forget the Elder. Let's go for the end. You've committed everybody into the Heimerdinger. He's baited. He's outsmarted. And at 29 minutes in here, Mammoth may just go for the victory.
And now it's just up to whether Katsuri can live for the next 10 seconds before the rest of his team members are up and available. You can see they make short work of the inhibitor. And no, they don't go for it, Skimmy. Instead, they are going to retreat back towards this Elder. I feel like if you were going to do Elder, you should have just done it from the get-go. You should not have pushed that mid lane wave. And they tend to agree because now they're just taking recalls. Oh, they're not. They're going to start it.
Oh,
this is so dangerous,
so much
Skimmy.
indecision right now. Even they are unsure as to what the play is. They can feel the anxiety swarming around them, so close to the biggest upset weekend we've seen all year long. But that means that everybody from the Chiefs can come back to this fight. Now, Mboma doesn't have a flash. Will he have a stopwatch? I didn't get a chance to see as the score screen goes down. And Soul Focus goes on towards his Elder. Now down to 50%.
Chungy on the flank, Liv on the flank.
Looking for that flank attempt. Can they try and make that action happen? That's going to be Chungy. That's going to be Liv. Everybody's going to get knocked up right now. The entire Chiefs team are up in the air. There's nothing they can do. Croc goes into the front line. They can't go for a smite steal. The team destroys them. They fall around. That's a flawless ace once again. Mboma the target. He survives on 10%. And once again, forget the Elder. Let's go for the win.
And they just use the objective to bait the fight. They take it cleanly. 5-0. Mammoth going to end the weekend 2-0.
What on earth is happening here in the OPL? The Mammoth boys, the week of hell, the week of doom. But they upset the order, they upset the pack. They take down first and second seeds, and they show that they are the new kid on the block.
I cannot believe it, Skivvy. Before this weekend, Mammoth had won 1 game. Now they walk out of the weekend against Legacy, the defending champions, and Chiefs second on the ladder with 2 wins. That is insanity.
I'm stunned. I'm absolutely stunned. The fact that, as you say, 1 win, they show up and say, you know what? This is going to be a weekend that's going to suck for us. Yeah, the odds are going to be so much against us. Yeah, probably people are going to be dismissive of our chances, as we were a little bit against Legacy yesterday. But they've shown up and we're thinking, okay, is that a step? Is it a fluke? Is it just Legacy falling out of form? Well, it's definitely not a step anymore. I said it was a long jump and they come into this one. Now it's a marathon sprint. They are well on their way to upsetting the pack and sort of making themselves a bid, a last-ditch effort to try and get themselves into that one. Absolute carnage here in the OPL. We're not quite sure what's happened on, but congratulations nonetheless to Mammoth. We're going to jump to a quick break, and when we return, speaking of the devil, it will be Legacy taking on Pentnet.gg.